afternoon, everybody. What is going on? I am Jeff Grant Media. In today's real user review, we're going to be talking about the London Bridge Trading Company 14-liter daypack V2, or the LBT8006A as it is also known. Now, to get this out of the way, I am not affiliated with LBT in any way, shape, or form. I bought this bag with my own money. I had wanted the V1 for quite some time, but they didn't have any good colors in stock. So I was waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, and then they dropped the V2 with the MCB because this was one of the top two colors I wanted. So I jumped on the V2 instead of the V1, and yeah, I'm pretty happy and satisfied with the bag, but that doesn't mean that there's no negatives, no neutrals, and obviously there's some positive points. So to start, my main use for this bag was as a dad bag. So this replaced my Mystery Ranch In-N-Out 19. I like that bag. I actually really like that bag. My biggest flaw with that bag was the one water bottle pocket. This has two. And the fact that the water bottle pocket was shaped kind of weird, and I wanted to try this. So I decided that this would be a good alternative to the In-N-Out 19. And in addition to being my dad pack, this bag has actually pulled quite a few different duties for me. And one of those other main jobs that this bag has been pulling off for me besides dad bag is family day pack. We have been to a bunch of amusement parks, namely Knoebels. It's like this regional amusement park to the area, like northeastern Pennsylvania. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty reasonably priced, and it's pretty close to the house. So we've been able to drive down there on several occasions now. Also, it's county fair season, and if you've never been to a county fair, they're usually kind of dirty because there's farm animals there, and they're held at fairgrounds and field, so usually it rains and everything's muddy, or if it doesn't rain, everything's dusty and dirty from animals walking around and kicking up dirt, and demo derbies and tractor pulls and all sorts of different events that they have. So the bag itself, being multicam, is actually really great. There's a little bit of dirt you can kind of see down here on the bottom of the bag, but other than that, the colorway I think has really helped to cover up a lot of the dirt and grime that this bag has seen over the past couple of months. Now, before we get into the review, we're gonna do a little bit of a comparison between the V1 and the V2. I'm not doing a direct comparison because I do not have a V1 of the bag. I only have V2, but we're gonna start with some specs, and then I'll point out really the only two main differences and show you them. The 14-liter daypack V2 comes in at $144.11 USD. It is available in multicam black and mass gray. It has a molded air channel padded back and an interior back wall lined with hook and loop for attachments. And it weighs in at 1.25 pounds. Now the 14-liter daypack V1 comes in at $133.89 USD. It is available in woodland, wolf gray, desert digital, tiger, ranger black multicam, wolf alpine multicam, CB Arid multicam, and Ranger Green. And it is also 1.25 pounds. So basically all of the differences deal with the back panel here, where this has, you can kind of see it has this padded air channel back. And then on the inside of the bag, it has, as you can see, I have some attachments here, my daughter's sunglasses, and these are actually some colored pencils. They're hook and loop, so it actually has this whole panel here, which gives the back of the bag a little bit of rigidity, or I'm told the V1 is pretty floppy. It doesn't have this rigidity at all. Now you can see the bag does kind of have this tendency to lean over, and let me zip it up and get a better idea of that. You can see the bag does have the tendency to lean over because there is no frame sheet in here, and you can see, we're gonna come back to this later, but you can see this channel here. It kind of just, it allows the bag to bend at that point. Now, there is some more rigidity in this V2 than in the V1 because it has that thicker interior lined wall with hook and loop, and the back padded back, air mesh padded back. So it does give it a little bit more rigidity, which I found the back to be very comfortable wearing, but really that is the only differences in the make of the bag. The V1 used to be available in multicam black, but that was one of the colors, again, pretty much Tiger and Multicam Black were the two colors I was super interested in, and neither was in stock. And when the V2 came out, it was available in only Multicam Black when I got it. Now it is available in Mass Gray. But when I bought it, it was just Multicam Black. But that's fine, because that was one of my top 2 main colors. So getting that out of the way, we're gonna go ahead and move into the negatives of the bag. And one of those is the fact that it kind of hunches over like that. And again, there's no frame sheet, and it's due to the way the back air channels are kind of built. Now right here, it has a tendency to pull over because there's a front pocket up here. One of the 2 pockets is right here. So anything weight here is just gonna kind of pull it down. So it's actually bending right about the seam where the top pocket meets the bottom pocket. And there just happens to be a channel for the air mesh right there. So honestly, if they kind of just adjusted where the air mesh are a little bit, they might be able to alleviate that lean, and it might help the bag to stand up on its own. I have had this bag standing up on its own. It doesn't happen often, but if I took the sunglasses and the pencils off the top, it might have a little bit better chance, but they're not very heavy. They're sunglasses for a 3-year-old, and they're like 8 colored pencils, so they're not that much weight. It's mostly just having anything in this front top pocket is going to give it that tendency to bend over. The thin grab handle. Now, if you've been following along for a while, you know I dislike these tiny, thin grab handles. Now, this being a 14-liter day pack, you're not gonna have a ton of weight in here, so it's not gonna be terrible. It's not super uncomfortable, but it is super, super thin. It's essentially just this piece of webbing folded over and sewed down, so it's just this tiny little piece of webbing. Now, as a pass-through bag, this bag always sits, it pretty much lives in my car. It sits on the floor of my car because the passenger seat is pretty much my shelf. My wife usually sits in the back with my daughter because she has a fit if there's no one back there to hang out with her, if both of us in the car. So this thing usually just lives on the floor, and my passenger seat is my shelf. So I kind of always grab this bag by this grab handle. Now, it hasn't by any means cut into my hand, because I'm always doing that pass over from the passenger side of the car to me when I'm getting in and out, or if I walk over to the other side of the car, I'll just reach in and pick it up off the ground. So it doesn't hurt by any means, because again, it's a 14-liter pack, so there's not a ton of weight in here, and I will show you everything that I keep in this bag daily, but I would like to see this just be maybe the full piece of webbing, because that way it would distribute across the palm a little bit better and just feel a little bit more comfortable. It's not like by any means a deal breaker. It's just something that I find is lacking in a lot of packs, is that they put this tiny grab handle on there, especially larger bags. It's just gonna eventually dig in, especially if you're kind of gripping it like this, and it can kind of go into that thumb index finger area. That would kind of hurt. It's a little fleshier there. So I'd like to see this just maybe the whole width of the strap, just sew the whole strap in there without tucking it over. That'd be pretty nice. And the next negative are these quick release buckles right here on the shoulder straps. Now, I hate these on every pack. I know in like larger tactical packs, they actually have a tactical reason. It's for you to quickly eject the bag, to get it off you if you need it off you, get it off you if you need supplies, have to hand the bag off. So they do, on like larger tactical bags, serve a good purpose, but on a 14-liter day pack, especially something that's built for civilian use, they're kind of useless. And sometimes I find they actually rub the inside of my arms, which I find uncomfortable. So those, I would just completely eliminate that and just make it one-piece strap with just a nylon buckle, because the nylon buckles are going to be a little smaller. These are a little fatter, they're a little wider, so I find that just ends up rubbing on my arm a little bit, and I've never used it. That may be the first time I actually ever unbuckled them, so I will never use these. I find it's also a fail point in a bag, because I've had the little arms on other things, not on backpacks, but on other things, I've had these arms just crack off due to age. If your daughter's playing with them, I had my daughter, she likes to buckle herself now, so her idea of buckling is getting half of it in, and she kind of crams it, and then one arm is always out, no matter what it is, car seats, try to just buckle herself in the car seat, and there's a few things she's done that with, and she actually kind of gets it wedged in there. So I'd like to see this just completely removed. I don't think it's necessary on a bag of this size, and I feel like it's ultimately a fail point of the pack. This grommet right here. I am not a fan of grommets on packs. Really the only pack that I like my grommets on is my Rucker 3.0 because I am physically using that to work out with. So if I were to get in some water, I would like the drainage. But the grommet on the bottom of this bag, I don't like it. I don't like it being there. I kind of try to pack something on the bottom that I don't necessarily need all the time. Really what I put on the very bottom is a pouch with an extra shirt or two for me in there. So if that gets a little wet, that's great because my daughter's clothes and stuff stay dry on the inside. But I don't see the need for the grommet on a 14-liter day pack. That's kind of just meant for casual use. This is by no means going to hold up to rucking, so I don't think you're going to be using this for any really strenuous outdoor events, like maybe some day hikes, but there's definitely some better materials that you would want to use for a day pack. So I think that grommet could just be completely eliminated. And there we have it for the negative points. And the neutral points, really, I just have one, and that's the lack of PALS webbing on this bag. I would really like to see some PALS webbing across the front of this pack. The actual shoulder straps and the sternum strap, which did come with the sternum strap, it's inside the bag. It's all MCB webbing, but not having it on here, I got these danglies dangling off zippers. They kind of go off to the side. I kind of dangle them. Sometimes I'll clip them on the end of the drawstrings for the bottle holders, and then I'll just keep it inside. But I've actually been using both water bottle pockets a lot lately, so I've kind of clipped it to the zipper. So now my zipper's got this big hand grenade or germ grenade dangling off it. I'd really like to see a little bit of PALS webbing on here. Again, it's not a deal breaker, but this bag closely resembles another brand's pack, but the LBT has some extra organization and water bottle pockets. Another thing you may have noticed if you've been following along is I love water bottle pockets on bags. So ultimately, I went with the 14-liter day pack from LBT over the GR Bullet because it has an extra pocket for organization and it has water bottle pockets. But the PALS webbing is just so useful, especially on a bag that has a tactical look. And if you're incorporating other tactical elements to your bag, just throw a little bit of PALS on there. Man, I would just love to see some PALS. Obviously, it wasn't a deal breaker. I still like the bag. I got it. It's completely usable without the PALS. I don't even want it for attachments. I just want it to be able to clip some stuff on the outside. It's nice to have your hand sanitizer on the outside of the bag with not dangling off your zippers or anything like that. Sometimes I like to have a pen on the outside. Just things like that. Just a couple things I could throw in that PALS. Throw my my carabiner on the PALS webbing instead of dangling. Sometimes it just, kind of hit you in the back. It doesn't hurt by any means. It's not really uncomfortable. You can easily just reach back and flip it up. But sometimes it'll flip down if you're putting the bag on. It'll kind of hit you in the back of the neck, and it just creates a little bit of discomfort. If I had some PALS webbing, I can put it right there. But that's really it for the neutrals and the negative points. Now, going into the positives of this bag, I'm going to start with the outside, work our way in, and we're going to start with the shoulder straps and the back panel because those are obviously two incredibly important parts of a bag. Now, the shoulder straps, they have a good amount of padding, but the padding, it's got great flex. It's thick, but it's got some flex to it, so it's not super duper stiff. So there's not like a huge long break-in point period to this bag. You can pretty much just put it on and it's comfortable, it's good to go. And they are backed by, I don't remember or know what this material is, but they were comfortable. It didn't pill up any of my clothes. It's not the more abrasive Cordura that's used on the outside. It's a little bit softer. I don't know exactly the weight of this, but it is comfortable. Again, it didn't ruin any of my clothes. And then the back panel, it worked well for me. The air channel, it did. I mean, it's been warm. I've worn this bag in a couple 90-degree, tons of humidity, high dew point days, and I sweat. I sweat all the time. Anyway, but all in all, the back panel was actually quite comfortable for me. I found this wearing it for an extended period of time to work out really well. It was a lot more comfortable than some other packs that I've used recently, and maybe less comfortable than a few others that I've used recently, but all in all, it worked really well. I really liked it. It did help to keep me a little drier than I would have been if I was using that In-N-Out 19. That's just, it's a packable bag, but it's got no channels on the back. It would just let the entire bag sit flush on my pack without any ventilation. I would have been a bigger, sweatier mess. So it did do its job. It worked pretty well, and I found it to be pretty comfortable. In addition, it does have that fold, but it did add a little bit of rigidity to it. But at the same time, without having a frame sheet, it didn't make the bag super duper stiff. So it was A, uncomfortable to wear, and B, it didn't allow me to crawl through the playground tunnels like I have to do sometimes, chasing my daughter. I did go down a couple of these big slides with this on my pack, so it did work. I didn't crawl through any tunnels though, so I can't say if it definitely passes the tunnel test, but ultimately it does have enough flexibility to be a good dad pack, because I think dad packs need to have a little bit more flexibility than an EDC pack, but it still had enough rigidity to be comfortable and to keep it away from my body and keep a little bit of the air flowing on my back. The size of the pack. Now this is a 14-liter pack. And I am kind of comparing it to my Mystery Ranch In-N-Out 19 because I think I can actually fit more inside this 14-liter pack as opposed to my 19-liter In-N-Out 19. I have all of the same stuff in here, but I think I actually have a little bit more extra room inside this bag than I do inside the In-N-Out 19. So for a 14-liter pack, it has a fairly small footprint on the body, but it actually holds quite a bit. And while we're holding it up like this, nice and broad, the color, I like the multi-candles color I was choosing, but the MCB is nice because it could kind of blend in with a more urban environment because it is darker, but the patterning, it does hide the dirt really well. I'm seeing a little bit more on the side, showed you that piece on the bottom, but it is actually hiding the dirt rather well, and I really like that. The water bottle pockets. They fit just about everything that I would normally carry in there very well. So we have my Camelback 750 Camelback chute, and we have my daughter's preferred cups. So these are pretty much spill proof. They'll still leak a little bit if she drops it, but for the most part these are great because they don't get all over your house, all over your car. But we have a bunch of these, all basically the same cup. Some of them may be a little squared off, or these ones are rounded, but they all fit great inside the pocket. And I like that these kind of swallows them because it keeps the lips, because this, just a sippy cup, it keeps it covered up. So walking around those fairgrounds that are dusty and dirty and muddy, the part that my daughter's putting her mouth on, it sinks down in and it gets covered up because, my water bottle's got a cap on it. Hers does not, so I like that it sits down in there. That's a big plus. And I've used this for a few other things like regular water bottles that you get out there, souvenir cups that you find when you're at the park or the fair or something like that. That all fit in here really, really well. So the water bottle pockets, they all work. They're stretchy, so they actually fit a lot, and then I could cinch them down a little bit. Generally, I don't cinch them, I just kind of leave them wide open because a sippy cup, it fits down in there good, and even though it's loose enough, it's not going anywhere. It's not going to fall out. It sits in there good enough, and it allows me to easily get it back in and out because I'm not cinching that down real tight. So I really like these pockets. They fit my my water bottle, my water carry needs, and they don't have a weird shape to them. They're just regular water bottle pockets. Really like that. This morale patch panel. It's actually quite large because your standard patch that you find on like a GR bag would fit just this, but I actually have a fair amount of real estate on there where you can see I have 2 patches, and there's still a lot more space there. So I can actually fit a variety of size patches on here, and being MCB, it does blend in. The patch panel is MCB, where the bag is MCB. It blends in really well, so you can't tell I got all this extra space super well, which I like because it blends in with the bag. It's camouflaged. Interesting. But it allows you to fit some bigger patches, because personally, I hate when you have a tiny little square or just like a little 2x3 piece and try to put a big patch on, I think it looks weird, it looks sloppy. Mostly like those little 2x2 squares that Evergood uses. I've never put a patch on an Evergood's bag because they just look, to me anyway, it looks weird having a larger patch on that tiny little panel. Mostly you can't see the panel when the patch is on, but I know what the panel looks like. So to me, it just looks awkward. I don't know, maybe it's just a mental thing on my part, but I like this larger morale patch. It's great. And then let's just start with our top organizer pocket. This is great. This is where masks, tissues, there's the sternum strap that I haven't used because it's only a 14-liter bag. I haven't needed it. Some business cards, some extra hand sanitizer, a brass key, and I still have room in there. So there's actually a lot of stuff in here, and I still got plenty of room. And then again, we have my little germ bomb on there. Going down to the bottom, pretty much have my first aid kit, and there's some napkins and like a little tablet that my daughter grabbed at the fair. First aid kit is great. I love having, that's pretty much all I keep in this bigger pouch. I like these little first aid kits. I buy them on Amazon, they're cheap, but then I kind of supplement them with my own stuff. So this one's actually a little bulkier. So having this pocket be a little bit bigger, it does have a little bit of three-dimensional space to it. So it's not really taking up any, both the pockets actually have three-dimensional space. So they're not really taking up space on the inside of the bag, which is great because these items, they're not super bulky, but I like them not taking up my internal space because often I am putting bulky things in there. But I like having my, my first aid kit in this larger pocket because I can quickly, easily get in there and grab it because I actually use this quite a bit. Whether my daughter needs the Band-Aid or not, if she bumps her knee, she's got a boo-boo, she wants a Band-Aid. Sometimes, yeah, there's been blood, so I've had to grab this quicker than I would if she just wants the Band-Aid, but I like having this on the outside, basically being the only thing in here because I got enough room, I can easily get my hand in there, grab this thing out. And again, the 3D space helps take it away from the bag, which is also good for trying to get in there and get my quick access items because if it's shared internal space, if the bag was packed out, it would make this pocket tighter and getting my first aid kit a little bit slower. Now we have the inside of the bag, which is essentially a big cavity with, I guess you'd call this your tablet sleeve. It's not padded, it's just a piece of material that's a divider. There's no D-ring or hook up here, so if you're gonna use this for a water bladder, there's nowhere to hang it, so you're gonna want to try to get a more rigid water bladder. Yeah, because even if you use some Velcro, it's just probably gonna pull down because water's heavy. So in here we have my daughter's sunglasses, which I just use this little cable tie to keep them up top. Colored pencils. Keep them in the box because it helps just keep them a little more organized. And then what I actually use this back panel for is my two items that I need often, and that is the biggest one, my little thing that I need some wipes. I still have some old doggy poo bags for diapers, but my daughter is potty trained, but I always need the wipes, so I keep them right here in the back panel. Keep my tab out, I can grab it. These are just cheap bags I bought from China on eBay, but they actually work really good for my purposes. They fit inside this bag really well. They fit both vertically in here and horizontally across the bottom really well. And then the other one, this is just a change of clothes for my daughter because 3-year-olds, they get messy. You can see the bag itself is messy. So using these two pouches quite a bit, I line them up right there so I can get them in and out. This is just a new addition, just actually pick these up at all. These are just like individually packed hand wipes, antibacterial wipes. So these are actually quite handy. Probably use them a little more than grabbing some of these wipes. And then I have these same pouches across the bottom. This one is red for first aid, but it's sunscreen and bug spray right now because those are the two things that we need quite a bit, especially at Knoebels. It's in the woods. So this is actually quite useful. I keep it lays pretty much, almost takes up the perfect space across the bottom, laying horizontally. And then below that is Daddy's spare t-shirts. Feels like there might only be one shirt in here right now. Yeah, there's just like one t-shirt in there. Usually I keep one or two. And this is the shirt, the pack that I lay completely across the bottom because if this gets wet, I'm not so mad because that grommet is in the bottom. So this is what I use to kind of block that grommet out. And I lay these horizontally across the bottom. They fit perfectly, almost the perfect width for the bag. They're not taking up that internal space because the outside pockets have their own dimension. And then I'll just take my antibacterial wipes, stick those in there. Again, these are a new addition. I actually just put these in probably 2 or 3 days ago, so I haven't actually even used any of these yet, but they're great. I bought a bunch of them because they're like 49 cents at Aldi, so I throw those in there. My daughter's got a whole bunch of little coloring books and stuff in the car, but the crayons sometimes get lost, so I like to keep these in the pack so they're grabbable. And then you never know when you're going to need the sunglasses, so I keep those at the top, and all of that fits perfect inside this bag, and I still have a ton of room inside the pack. And there you have it. That is the LBT 8006A pack, or the 14-liter Daypack V2. In summation, final thoughts, what do I think? I really like this pack. It does have a couple negatives, but every single product you buy is gonna have some negative points. Even if it's something you design and built yourself, there's gonna be things that you would like to change down the line. So yeah, it's got some negatives, but none of them are deal breakers. The negatives and neutral points, the one neutral point being the lack of pals, they're all perfectly fine. I can live with them, I could deal with all of them. None of them would make me not buy the pack. The quality of the bag, it's great. I mean, I have been using this for a while now. I don't remember when I got it. I have used this far more than I thought I would. I thought this was gonna be my dad bag. On daddy-daughter days, when I'm grabbing this, going to the park, going to the mall, going on play dates, just throw some stuff in here and go. But ended up using this quite a bit. Actually, probably gonna take this into Philly next month. We're going down to the Please Touch Museum. So I think this is probably going to end up being my Please Touch Museum bag because I already have all my dad bag stuff loaded in here. Fits everything that I need, including all those extras that I'm gonna have to bring to the Please Touch, all the things that you pick up, the toys you win, the things you buy at the fair. It had plenty of room. It was very comfortable to wear in all of my situations wearing this thing. It fits me really well. I'm 5'9", about 175-ish. I didn't feel strained or stressed at all. And the straps, even though they do have some flex, the padding is quite thick, and it wears really well in the back. So would I buy it again? Yeah, I definitely would buy this pack again. I would actually buy the floppy version, the V1. I would actually pick up one of those if I can get one in Tiger for a good price. But the newer V2 version, I'm very happy with this bag. I'm definitely glad I made the purchase. So yeah, I would definitely pull the trigger. This is my first and only LBT product. I've heard good things about some of their other bags. I know I've heard some bad things about this pack, or at least the V1. But for me, for my purposes, it's been great. It's been a great bag. It served me well. It's done its job. And it doesn't show, besides a little dirt, it doesn't show really any signs of wear. No stitchings have come undone. Nothing has frayed. And it still remains to be comfortable, even after I've worn it quite a bit in some heat and some humidity. And it's been thrown around a lot because it lives in my car, so when I need room, I just kind of pick it up. I'll throw it in the trunk, I'll throw it in the back seat, I'll grab it. I'm not gentle with it because this is, it's built to be used, so I don't want to baby it and treat it like some pristine piece of gear that I don't want to ruin and get dirty. I used it, I abused it, and it still looks great and holds up well for me. So if you're thinking about getting an LBT 8006A, yeah, I really like the bag. I know I keep saying the long name of it besides the 14-liter Daypack V2, both kind of long. But anyway, I like the bag. I recommend it. If you were thinking about it, you're on the fence, pull the trigger. It's gonna be a good pack for you. It's comfortable, it works, it looks good, and it wears really well. So if you like this video or any of my other videos, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Smash that big red button and ring that bell right next to it so you get notifications next time I post a brand new video. Good night.